Good morning, all of you. And today we will start Kautilya. So I have been teaching, Kautilya is part of Indian political thought. So I will also, let you know what I have taught so far to my, students. So Kautilya, in comparison to, Manu, Kautilya is a very, realist political thinker. Even today, if someone is more realist in thinking on strategy uh, and having better understanding of power politics, then he is regarded as Chanakya or a disciple of Chanakya. And today we call Amit Shah as the Chanakya of Indian politics. And Kautilya is also known as Chanakya Vishnugupta. He lived from 350 BC to 275 BC. He is a thinker of post-Vedic period and who is a great political strategist, economist, educator, and an expert in the diplomacy. Kautilya was a professor at the University of Takshashila. It is the world's first university, Takshashila, and a student of University of Nalanda. So he was the student of Nalanda and he was the teacher of Takshashila. Kautilya Arthashastra explains in details the principles of righteousness in management and politics and states that it is the essence of kingship. So this Arthashastra uh, that you will find various aspects on education, on management, on leadership, on governance, on human resource development, then on social structure, on economy, then lastly on state. So Kautilya's state is there in your syllabus, but I am planning to tell you everything, um, all these aspects in the Arthashastra, right? So we will deal first with the education, right? To Kautilya, teaching wrong things is a great crime, right? And today it is very relevant because you know in a skill-based educational system where the civilizational knowledge is missing, where knowledge is linked with with getting a job, and job is all about the salary. In such a situation, you know, uh, teaching right things, it doesn't come in the mind of a teacher. They are just doing their job. So in that context, teachers consciously or unconsciously, they don't bother about the righteousness. They don't bother about wrong teaching, and most of the times we got affected by this wrong teaching, and this wrong teaching results the wrong learning, and it is super danger for the society, for the individual, uh, for the various, for the state, right? So teaching wrong things is a greater crime. It is a greater crime than killing a person. When you are killing a person, then one person is getting killed. But when you are teaching wrong thing, then you are killing the generations. So Chanakya knew it. And learning is that which results righteousness and wealth. So there are two important aspects of learning. And today we connect learning with wealth, not with the righteousness, what I call civilizational knowledge. So, there are two aspects of learning. One is the righteousness and what I call civilizational knowledge, and the second one is the wealth, what I call skill-based knowledge. So, Kautilya gives importance to both you know, civilizational knowledge and skill based knowledge. So learning has two purpose. One is to enable individual to understand what is right and what is wrong, what is ethical, what is unethical, what is uh, proper, what is improper, what is just, what is unjust. The distinction of all these categories, it gives a kind of proof over your holding on righteousness. And the second purpose of you know uh, education is the wealth. I mean, the wealth, how to generate wealth, because wealth is always related with the overall development of an individual. It gives you a situation where you can develop your potential. So wealth is not the end, wealth is the means. And sometimes means is also end, because without aiming it, you may not achieve that means, right? But at the end, wealth is not a end, wealth is a means, right? So training and learning destroys unrighteousness, poverty, and hatredness. Training and learning. So the continuous learning and continuous training, it destroys whatever evils we have in our personality. It destroys the poverty, because since it generate wealth, so nobody become become poor. And it also destroy the hatredness, right? Once you are guided by the righteousness, then you do understand the concept of duty. And the concept of the realization of this concept of duty, make it, or make hatred disappear from this society, from this system. So education must be directed towards discipline and self control, right? So education is all about making you discipline. uh, Discipline is been very systematic, very logical, very strict, and it directs you to towards self control, towards how to control your five organs, and how to make your personality strong, how to make your mind balanced, right? So education must be directed towards discipline and self-control, and lessons for discipline would be imparted to those you know now Kautilya has mentioned certain qualifications, uh, you know to be given education, right? So if you have those qualifications, then you can impart those education. And what are those qualifications? There are four qualifications to have education. The first is education can be imparted to those whose intellect had the desire to learn, right? So the first qualification is having the desire to learn. That do you have that desire to learn, or you are just learning for a piece of certificate? You are just learning to generate wealth only, or why? Is there any desire within you? I mean, if it is there, then what is the basis of that desire, right? So most of the students today, they are just reading for the sake of reading, for the sake of examination, to become a topper. But from their actions and from their thought, it is always painful to know that they do not understand the very purpose of education, the very purpose of learning. So from that you can sense that their desire to learn is not there in their personality. So their desire is something else, not to learn. But Kautilya wants that desire for learning must be an important part of his or her intellect, so that he can be given education. The second qualification is that education could be imparted to those who had the capacity to listen attentively, that listening ability, right? A good speaker should always become a good listener, right? And today, uh, you know, the person who is having, you know, listening capability more than others, then that person, become best, you know, uh, speaker, best leader, because he has listened a lot, and when he listen you, he's so attentive that what you speak he knows, and what you don't speak, he or she knows it. So that listening, attentive listening, is the second characteristic of you know of a individual that is required in order to uh, you know to be imparted education according to the Kautilya. And the third qualification is that who had the power to grasp what was taught and to retain it in memory. Power to grasping power, that whatever you know taught, he can you know what I'll call, he can manage it within his or her mind, right? He can figure out the map that today the teacher has told on these aspects. So he could have connect and correlate whatever teacher has said. He should go to the books, he should read, and then he should problematize his own understanding. He should know how to connect book with the teachers, how to connect one logic of the teacher of another logic in that particular class. That is something called grasping. And once you grasp, then it automatically it retains in the memory. So if you don't understand, then you may what I will call you by doing several practices, then you will be able to keep it in your memory. But without understanding that concept, after some days, some hours, whatever you have remembered by your hard ratta, by your hard practices, it will disappear. So grasping is very important, you know for retaining in the memory. So that is given importance by Kotal. Then the fourth qualification is that lessons of discipline or education could be imparted to those who discriminate between important and unimportant, draw inferences, deliberate and imbibe the truth. So uh, the person should be the seeker of truth. The person should not accept everything as truth or everything as false. This person should have that dialectical, understanding, and a kind of, inquisitiveness to search the truth, right? And that person must have, the personality of deliberation. I mean, uh, for deliberation, there are certain, there is a concept of deliberative democracy. So you can do the self search, that what are the important element of deliberation. So all these characteristics of deliberation must be present in the personality of that individual, and that individual must have the capability to draw inferences. Now, what is the inferences? Let me give you example. So for example, all men are mortal. Ram is a man and Ram is mortal. So first two statement are the proper, what is it called? Uh, these are two statements for example, right? Then the third statement that Ram is mortal, that is inference. That you are inferring that sentence out of, two statements given earlier, right? So that drawing inference is very much required. I mean, that means your mind works. Right? So that individual must draw the inferences. Then the individual, must know how to discriminate between the right, wrong, ethic, unethics, truth, false, important, unimportant, right? So if you don't know how to distinguish, then even if education is given to you, it will always futile. Right? So you may not satisfy the very purpose of that education. So this is all about education. Kautilya has mentioned in the Arthashastra. Then the second on management, right? You know uh, Kautilya is management in the MBA department. Kautilya is being taught, and why Kautilya is being taught? Because Kautilya is the best personality to understand the management, right? So if you see, the Chanakya, the TV serial, right, then you will find that what Kautilya has done to the, Nanda Vangsha or Nanda territory. So instead of attacking the heart of, Nanda's, dynasty, Kautilya slowly chipped away, and the age where he was able to throw out invaders by building alliances with the small kingdom. Now, from that, you will find what a personality Kautilya is there so far as destroying a kingdom is concerned. So, the person who can destroy a kingdom, that person can construct a kingdom. Right? So, Kautilya has that potential to destroy a kingdom and to construct a new kingdom. So in the process of destroying the Nanda's dynasty, what Kautilya did, Kautilya did not attack to the directly to the heart of Nanda's dynasty. Instead, what he did everything at the edge of Nanda's territory, and from that edge, you know, the king. The Nanda, who was throwing individuals who were the invaders out of his territory. Now Kautilya, he made alliances with those invaders and with the small kingdom, and that's how, you know, in the Rajamandala theory, the theory of his state, I will let you know what is the significance of it. Kautilya, whatever he practiced, he just theorized it. So by building the alliances with those invaders and small king, Kautilya uh, finished the Nanda's territory. Right? So two important, you know, things relating to management is taught in the context of Kautilya. One is the building alliances, and the second is the time management, the right time for the right work. There are two things. Now, this strategy, what he applied to destroy the Nanda's, dynasty, that strategy is called the Mandal strategy, and which can be useful tool in governance and management. That Mandal strategy, I will let you know when we will go into his theory of state, the theory of Rajamandala, the circle of state. Right? Now, this Mandal strategy, uh, you know, it is very much useful, uh, you know, when you will govern and the state, or when you will manage the big private or government institutions. Now, building deeper human values can further connectivity between the citizens and its leader. So, what Kautilya is saying, that only strategy will not help you to manage better, along with sorry, along with strategy, there must be a deeper connection or deeper human value uh, connection between the citizens and the leader. So the strategy will not work. Along with the strategy, there must be a moral connection, a deeper connection between the leader and their citizen, so that the citizen can understand the leader can understand the citizen, and it will not give any scope your enemy to destroy you. So the good relation between the Raja and Praja is very essential so far as the security and stability of your state is concerned. Now the next on leadership, right? Now to Kautilya, a leader should possess the truthfulness, the reliability, the gratefulness, then liberality, promptness, freedom from vices, a long-term vision, and respect for the advice of elder. Right? If all these virtues are there, then you can be a better leader. So first virtue is the truthfulness. Right? Why truth is necessary? Because truth is necessary in order to develop that connectivity between the individual and the king, between the Raja and Praja. If you lie always destroys a relationship. Lying is not good for a healthy relationship, for a healthy society, for a healthy system. As an individual, you are subjected to commit or omit mistakes. And when you commit and omit mistakes, you try to speak it near your elders, to your parents. Now, after speaking it, you feel relaxed. Your body, mind, and spirit feels very happy as usual, right? So this gives you a kind of freedom. You are free from all free from that vice, but you did it, committed it, or omitted it. Now, how individual learn this truthfulness? Individual will learn this truthfulness only when the king or the leader speaks this truth. If the leader is lying, then there is a possibility that that lying culture may prevail in the system. Hence, a leader should possess the truthfulness. A leader should be reliable. Whatever leader has said today, he or she must stick to his or her position. That reliability helps the leader to get the voluntary, trust from the people. The leader will not go to the, people or citizen at the time of election for asking vote, for giving some money, liquor, or money, wine, or meat. Rather than voluntarily, citizen will come and they will give vote to that leader, because that leader is a reliable leader. So the reliability is always connected with the trust, right? Then the third is the gratefulness. The king must acknowledge what his prajas has done for him. And this acknowledgement is nothing but the gratefulness of the king towards the praja. The king must have gratefulness. The king should not take everything for granted. Right? Then the liberality. The king must have a liberal attitude, not conservative. The king should have understand the human values, and if the offense is pardonable, the king will pardon. That is something called liberality. So the intention of king should not be to give punishment. The intention of king to manage his state properly. That is something a liberal. Then is promptness. The king should not delay the justice. The king should not keep file under the carpet. The king should have the attitude to deal with the situation quickly and to dismantle the pain of his brother, of his citizen, people. That is promptness. And the king should be free from vices. And what are the vices? Now, the lust, anger, greed. These are the human vices. The king must be free from these vices. Let's take about Lord Ram. And remember, Lord Ram is the idealization of a king on the earth. If you want to be a better king, better leader, then you have to be like Lord Ram. And the king must have a long-term vision and respect for the advice of the elders. Now, vision is very important. What Yogendra Jadhav has said in the context of politics of social justice, that the person who wants to replace Narendra Modi, those person they are lacking the vision, and the vision must be long-term. The way these visions were there in Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Patel, Bhimrao Ambedkar, these were the visionary. So a politician must go beyond his election rather than he should think about the generation. He should have the long vision. And there must be respect for the advice of the elders. In the name of modernity, the leader should not dismiss the tradition. Rather than the leader should always acknowledge, respect, accept the elders. Then only you can become a good leader. Then the leader should study four branches of knowledge, that is philosophy, scripture, economics, and politics. And why he should read the philosophy? Now, to develop his logic. Why he should read the scripture? Now, to understand the commandments, to understand the moral and ethical part of those commandments. Why he should read economics? Now, to manage money and the problem of money. He can understand the values of money. And why he should read the politics? In order to understand the nature of power, understand the conflict, in order to know how to resolve that conflict resolution. For that, a leader should study the four branches of knowledge: philosophy, scripture, economics, and politics. Now, a leader must have combined knowledge of artha and dharma, because without it, the kingdom may not sustain. Artha and dharma. Artha means money, and dharma means righteousness. The king must have sound knowledge of both these aspects, because without it, the kingdom may not sustain. Now, in fact, Arthashastra is a framework for building wealth, welfare, and well being. Wealth of the individual, welfare of the society, and well being of the praja. The main intention of Arthashastra is to build the wealth, welfare, and well being. The leader or the king must allot time for himself for meditation. That is very important. Meditation is very important. Through the meditation, the king controls his five senses. The king tries to, you know, make himself free from all these vices. Then the leader must find a balance between the inner self and outer world. You know, the balanced approach of inner self and outer world. You will understand the outer world, but you will not be swept away by the outer world. So there is a inner world, that is something called morality. There is a outer world, that is something called materialist. Now a leader should know how to balance this moral world which is inside with the outer world that is materialist, right? Now essence of leadership lies in the ethical foundation. Therefore the leader should adhere to justice and ethics. So the leader operates in a materialist world, but a leader knows that without adhering to justice